All right, my friends, here we are. It was a little bit confusing today because normally I do the shows on Monday and Tuesday, but yesterday was a holiday here in the United States, so nothing really much got done. And it's kind of the new normal now that I'm doing 2 shows a week. Back in Dojo 1.0 days, we had like one show a week, and that show would be like 3 or 4 people. Now, my friends, oh, buddy, we got a lot more, and we're getting about 20 a week. Now, maybe that's going to go down as people kind of figure it out with transferring their deets over to 2.0. But in general, man, whew, we are getting lots of activity. The amount of activity on the site is definitely skyrocketing. Why? Because it's awesome. That is why. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to do... Oh, I did something terrible here. Hold on. Hold on, Kraai. You're in the wrong scene, buddy. I was looking for this earlier, and then... I'm dying. There it is. Kraai, now this is what you need. Is you need to turn on your business. That's what you need. Bang! I am dying here, though. Here, let's just die a little bit less, and then we're going to put this little higher mouse. There we go. Okay, this needs to be duped. There's a little problemito in the casito. Maybe. How do I think you go like this? Give it a scooch, buddy. There you go. I think that's the way to do it. Okay. So the text of me and Kostya have been working hard all day, dude. We have been busting the coconuts, as they say, in the business. Okay. Oh, I'm dying here. Something is going radically wrong. There we go. Okay. I got a pro stream. That's right. It's a drape. It's a green screen, my friend. It's a green screen. I like it because I can do this. And really what I want to do in these game review shows is be able to show the annotations that people have been doing. That's the coolest thing. One of the coolest things about the site is the annotations people have been doing, the quality of annotations. Okay, so let's get into it. And pop. So we're going to do the people below 1,000. And let's start off with Irish Mac. Now, this is an example of somebody, maybe they're just kind of new to the scoreboard, but let's click on them and see what's going on. So that's, no, dude, Irish Mac has been working, dude. So generally what I like to do here is I like to see what they've done to get to the next cohort. So they got a cohort score of 32, games and analysis, tactics, all this other business. And now they've made it up into the next cohort where they've done mostly tactics, right? And so that's just interesting for me, hopefully other people to see. Now we're going to click games. They have said they've done some games over here, so let's see if we got something. Oh, dude, Irish Mac has been doing some work. This is good, man. This is good. All right, so this game, fairly recent. Let's click on it. Boom. I just want to see on the layout. Yeah, you can see it pretty clean. Okay. In fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scooch all this down a little bit just so that we can see everything. See as much as we can. Okay. So, Irish Mac is black. Let's switch it up. Question. I made a mistake early on in the game that I never really recovered from. What could I have done different after that to even up the game? All right, let's see. So he says, this is where it went wrong in the beginning. I should have dealt with the d4 pawn. Okay, dude gives some different variations. Definitely taking d6 seems kind of weird. But is knight f6 so terrible? I'm going to say it can't be that bad. Okay, especially at this level. I don't think it could be that bad. So let's take a look. d5, knight b4. Okay. I still think you're doing fundamentally okay. You're not toast yet. I'm going to guess that knight e7 seemed weird to you because you're blocking everything up. The intention, of course, though, is to go here. So in this position, I think what we want to do is we want to steal the pawn. You know, we'll steal the pawn. We'll give a little flick later, you know, when we're ready. And is our position a little worse? Maybe, but we are fundamentally alive here. Now, knight b4, maybe we're also still alive. But here we gotta go back to a6. Gotta. And then the point is, I don't think we're losing a pawn because we always can get this dude back either by kicking first or playing queen e7. And maybe there's some positions you can take directly. But this is where you blew it. That is where you blew it. I like this quote. At this point, I was kind of panicked and thought, my knight is going down. I'm taking a pawn with it. Okay. So. All right. Now, one of the interesting things about your initial question, though, is after this initial mistake, could you have gotten back in the game? And at this level, at this cohort, yes. Like, let's see. My guess is white will blunder something coming out of this. So, for example, bishop e2 blunders a tempo. Okay, I would want you to castle. Now, one of the things I'm noticing here is that your annotations stop, and that suggests to me that you're despondent. You're despondent that you've lost the piece, both during the game and in the analysis. At this level, dude is going to make some mistakes still. Now, that is a poor move because you are encouraging his knight to come to d5, right? Dude doesn't take up the offer. Would have been nice to land a big old fatty knight there. Okay, so he takes that this way, castles, good. Bishop c4, poor move. So this is going to be the first instance where, as I said, white will make some mistakes and you have some chances to create some drama. Okay, so bishop c4 is wrong primarily because it's moving a developed piece twice. 2, because you can whack it with rook c8. 3, because bishop f3, there's no reason for white to allow you to play bishop takes f3 to ruin the structure, right? Now, let me just say what I say almost in all these shows, is that in the under 1,000 cohorts, it's about where the game is decided is somebody hanging stuff. However, you can become good at seeing some of the other features of the game. So again, where the game, if you're under 1,000, where the game will be decided is somebody hanging stuff. However, you get to a position like this, it's not like the game's over. There's still a big conversion question going on. Okay, and white doesn't know what to do and plays this move. Okay, and now you play bishop g5. I agree, mistake. Good annotation, by the way. Good annotation. There was really no point to this move. I admit, during the game, I was lost and didn't know what piece to move. Now, there's lost can be two things, right? Like you're lost in the sense that you don't know what's going on, and lost in the sense that we're lost over the board. I think you mean lost in the sense you don't know what to do. Let me say that rook c8 is a good start, just to see where dude wants to go. Bishop f3, let's just check it out for a second. Bishop g5, bishop f4, intending queen h4. He's got some questions to answer, you know? If I was white, I'd be like, boss, why did I allow this to go down, you know? Okay. So this happens. HG's, why not take with the queen, right? Okay. Now, again, the thesis is that if you hold solid here, this person might not be able to take you down. But then this is where you're really blowing it, because this allows, you just may put it in the context, with this move f6, you've tried to control the knight, and now you let him in. So it's two tactical blunders, knight takes c2 and allowing knight takes g5, that are killing you in this game. It's not just the first mistake, okay? Not just the first one. That knight's a real pain. Check. Check. Well, you got to pause. Actually, I went a little fast. I apologize. White should be able to mate you here. What happened? What happened? What? I think it was right here. My opponent asked for a take back. Request denied. There's no take backs here, son. Welcome to the dojo. Wait, but how'd you lose the game, Bows? Jack to the miserable king. Okay, so let's be clear in this position. Dude still has good compensation for the queen because of the powerful c-file and the fact that your rook is out of play on f6. This would be a really good opportunity to do some analysis here to see if there's some way for you to get out of this. So for example, with bishop d3, you encourage dude to do that to you, and I'm worried you're going to get mated here. You know, that's what it looks like. You say rook f8 double question mark. It's a little hard for me to know where to go, though. And if you feel that's a double question mark, you should say what you should do. I will say from my own little perspective, it looks very dangerous for you here. Very dangerous. Maybe rook h6. I'm interested in rook h6 because I don't want him to protect the knight, like rook g6, h4. Because, see, the king's going to march here, and we have to worry about this mating net. Okay, so that's an example of where you can get really good by analyzing your games, and we could go back and we could say, oh, well, maybe then rook h6 here makes a lot more sense. And the idea really is maybe someday to get my king out of dodge, really, because this is coming soon. You know, this thing's coming, and it's going to be ferocious. And notice the queen, you know, eventually I'll get some counterplay, but it's going to be a second. So this would be an example of a position where you need to consolidate. If you consolidate, you're going to be doing great, right? Okay. Okay, good. Now, I want to say, Irish Mac, that you know, we're looking at somebody in the 300 to 400 cohort now. Dude, you're gonna fly through that cohort. I can see from the quality of your moves, even though you're hanging some stuff, you're still gonna go up to the next cohort fairly quickly. Okay. People are yelling at me. They're yelling at me in the Discord about all kinds of things, dude. Oh my God. Okay. I gotta go find my ChessCom logo to slap it on here. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do there. I gotta do it later. All right. Here. All right, here we'll do this. We'll go pop, and I'll go find this thing, what he wants from me here. Pop, 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 and then I go pop. There we go, bows. See, he wanted that little chest. He wanted the NASCAR thing on me, and I forgot because I was shifting scenes so fast. Okay, cool. Let's do the next one. Next up, we have Thomas Bradley, also in the 3 to 400 cohort. Let's check it out. So, beautiful. Irish Mac, dude, you're doing the work, man. You're doing the work. Let's go now, recent. And we're going to go Thomas Bradley's kind of in the middle here somewhere. Pop. Oopsie. There's a couple more over here. Bananas. We're going to talk about bananas later. One of the great things I love about this show, more people are utilizing this feature, is that the famous Jack Stingline coded it in that you, when you graduate, you can say whatever you want about the program or what you thought was useful, and we're going to get some great comments today. So let me read Thomas's quote here. I think the help with analysis was most important. This is the first time I've really dug into my games and learned from them. In particular, learning from my mistakes. Okay, there we go. So, beautiful, man. Beautiful. Activity. And we're going to look at what dude did to get to 0-300. Lots of games in analysis, just like he said. 69 points. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And then already in the 3 to 400, already done some work too. Let's just click on tactics, see what we're talking about. Everyone's first chess workbook. Good. And that might have carried over a little bit from the last one. You can see the Polgar mates in one there too. All right, let's see if we got a game here from Thomas. We do, my friends. Oh, this is going to be a good show today. All right. So Thomas Bradley's black. Let's flip it around. Good, dude. Good. Now, here's the thing. Thomas Bradley isn't officially allowed to study any openings. However, this particular opening is dear to my heart. We are in the process of developing some dojo opening repertoires at varieties of level, and what we really want is, like, for people between 1200 and 1800 to give them an opening repertoire that is not like a chessable repertoire, which has 1,000 variations, but just like the basics with the sparring positions and the ideas, right? And this is one of the ones that I'm developing. Kostya and David have their own openings that they're developing. I think this is great. Quick development, and the pawn on f6 will mean that you have great kingside defense. Okay. Now, one of the reasons that we do not want you studying hectic openings before 1200, and that's 1200 FIDE, by the way, not ChessCom or something like that, is we want you to have a sense of the principles. So, for example, up to here, we're doing GM level play. That is in correctamundo. Why is it in correctamundo? Because that's not a developing move. You need to get your boys out, right? So that's correctamundo right there. Even if I would be happier with bishop e7 than I am with c5. No, it doesn't make as much aesthetic sense, right? You got to bring the bishop out. You got to castle. Okay, so c5, poor move. Bishop e3, okay. And now we get a mistake and a variation that's suspiciously long. I don't know what that variation's about, Bows. I don't know what that's like a separate game going on over there. I don't know what that one is. Now, Thomas, I want to yell at you a little bit for these annotations. There should be more stuff going on. And in particular, it would be nice if we got a question mark on c5. Okay, bishop g4. Why is that a mistake? Right? Not clear to me why that's a mistake. Pop. Okay, we're down a pawn. And you take. Probably we should just go back to c8. By the way, this is a good opportunity to talk about bishops in development. It might feel like you're undeveloping the bishop, but in a lot of ways, the bishop just needs to get out so that the rook gets out, right? And then the problem here is now that you've created a monster, right? And now it's really a monster because this bad boy is running. Yeah. So, at this level, the most important thing to recognize is that it's because you're hanging stuff that the game goes against you. That's going to hurt, right? That's going to hurt. Okay, I don't know what the point of that move is. Okay, and I guess you get crispy crittered here. White played a good game, dude. By the way, we're talking games at a pretty low level that are being played at a pretty high level, right? Like that's, for a 300 to 400 cohort is pretty good, dude. That's pretty good. Ball 184 asked why bishop c8 instead of bishop e6. We probably could have done it too. Let's go back and look at that question. Yeah, I think e6 is fine too. I just wanted to make the point about development, right? Where on e6 maybe he's going to get tagged. So I think I like your e6 move fine, by the way. Yeah. Okay, Thomas, you as well, in addition to Irish Mac, are going to improve. Here's a fun fact about the word Mac that I just learned. So you might know that the Scandinavians invaded England way back in the day, and there's a lot of words in the English language that we get from the Scandinavians, the Vikings. The word Mac, though, now you know, like, okay, let's go back a little bit. In Sweden, for example, and Iceland, you say things like someone's son, John's son, for example. And that's an old Viking thing. Even the word Johnson, which sounds like an English name, is from the Nordic past in England. But what I learned is that the word Mac, like MacArthur, MacDonald, all these other names that you've heard 1,000 times, the word Mac means son. So MacDonald is son of Donald. So it's a Nordic tradition that got imposed on the north, where the Norwegians landed there at some point, you know. So there's this various, both the Mac and the son mean the same thing from the Viking invasion. Okay. Skebik says a question. Jesse, when I go to the sparring positions, those are fine to pick my response to e4, or they are advantageous for white. So I want to say the opening sparring, we are working on that now. That is a project in process. And we look here at the moment, really all I have up, we have up, are the sparring positions for the aggressive repertoire that I put up. And as I just mentioned, we're going to do a bunch more coming up. These are a little bit more involved, honestly, than we would really want for players between 12 and 1800, right? So again, the philosophy of the dojo is very clear with the openings. We feel like people are going too deep into openings too soon, right? And we want to say no openings until 1200, and then 1200, 1800, we want it to be a firm foundation and not like 1,000 move variations. Okay, so let's go back and we're going to do the next one, who is going to be Michael Deenan. And Michael's kind of in the middle here. Pop. Think lazy. A little bit before think lazy. Pop. There's Michael. Michael's gone up to 4 to 5. Let's give it a click. Nice. Gone up 131 points. Going to graduate at 750. And basically, this is somebody who just started, adult, beginner, eager learner. When I say just started, I mean, of course, just with our site. So I have a feeling we're not going to see any games from Michael. Michael just started with this progression here. Good. All right. Then we're going to go to how do I say this? Channelum Rackle. And I was thinking, maybe he's thinking about channeling somebody. I don't know. Let's read what Channel says. Really liking the program so far. I was having a bit of a hard time finding longer time control games in my cohort, but joining the Dojo Classical has solved that. And you know, one thing about Dojo 1.0 that's kind of interesting for me to think back on is one of the one of the reasons people were joining 1.0, maybe even a primary reasons, was just to get classical games. Because we had the Dojo tournaments, all that stuff. And I think that still exists to a certain extent. But of course, our site is so much more than that. I do want to tell a little story here, though. One of the reasons people aren't playing longer games is just the amount of cheaters out there. And just anecdotally, I will say that my student, Jamil, imagine this, dude. You know, he's playing a couple practice games on chess.com, and because he's a bum and won't play longer time control, he's playing like game 30s with randos out there. And of the last 5 games of game 30s, 4 out of the 5 were cheaters, dude. 4 out of the 5. And you think about it, like, anybody can deal, you know, with their online chess with a certain amount, maybe what, like, everybody's pressure point is different, you know. Like 1 in 30, I can imagine, okay, it's not so bad, 1 in 30. And then they eventually get caught and you get the points back or whatever. Now you start talking about 1 in 10, that's a little annoying because then you start suspecting everybody. You know, 4 out of 5. Oh my God, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on? Okay, so this is channel. Let's go 111 point gain. Next graduation 950. Nice. Okay. Let's look activity. I love it, dude. This is such a beautiful site. Okay. So there's channel. Let's see what they did to get here. That's some good points. A lot of tactics, a little bit of game. Let's click on the tactics for a second. Oh, that's a nice distribution. Okay. So everyone's first chess workbook, some puzzle rush, mates in 1. Dude, very good. Puzzle survival. And there you see a nice time breakdown. Games and analysis. So actually, really interesting, right? So a lot of time spent on the games and analysis. As it should be. Just a tad on the opening. Even though they're not allowed to. They're not allowed. They're not allowed to do it, buddy. Let's see if we get a game from channel. We do. Let's go check it out. And Agasapop is also in the program, and we have covered Agasapop's graduation fairly recently. By the way, we're trying to get better about posting these shows to our second channel, and we got some people now on it. So hopefully all of these shows and other things like it, let's call them the long form videos, will all be there at some point. So if you miss the graduation show and you have a friend on it or you're on it, you can go back and watch. Okay, so here we go. This channel's white. Let's check it out. Here I was thinking if I can push d4, but black then going de4 seemed bad for me. Good. I'm down a pawn and have to move my knight on f3 for a second time. Okay, so let's say d3 is maybe playable. It's a little weird, but it is following the principles, okay? And probably e5 is the best move, but d3, let's give it a chance. I don't think d4 is that great of a move. And this may be a little highfalutin, but as long as you fix your knight, you are going to get an interesting, let's call it King's Indian structure. Okay, so knight e2. If I was white, I'd be more concerned about probably bishop b4 and or de4. So pop, pop, pop. Now you need to be sensitive to your development. So let's say a couple obvious things. Black has a little bit of space. That's no big deal. No big deal. You need to, though, figure out the bishop. And pronto, I think you need to say, I'm either going to go like this or I'm going to go like this, right? And you have to make a choice now. And your king needs to skedaddle over there. Okay. All right, bishop g5. But you know what? All that doesn't matter. I'm not going to yell at you if you develop, which you are doing. Good, dude. Good. Fine. Fine. And then now I'm going to yell at you. I was trying to prevent knight b4, but I don't think it's necessary. Very good. Now, one of the things I want to stress about when people lose time, again, at this level, what's going to decide things is hanging stuff, right? But it's easy, it's harder to learn to not hang stuff, but pretty easy to learn not to give away time. Because you just know I'm going to yell at you for a3. You know it without even listening to the show. But it's not like dude is playing a3 without a reason. There's some fear about knight b4. Understandable, right? But here, when in the light of day, dude sees it, not necessary. And then I yell at him, but even before that, Channel yelled at himself, maybe herself, right? So good annotation, a3. Not a great move. c4, spicy. Now we want a castle. We definitely don't want that. Pieces go forward in chess. They don't go backward. Why are we going knight c1? Castle loss. Castle. Okay. Frisky. Now, black is also refusing to develop. And g5 is kind of, honestly, like a highfalutin move. So Channel writes, I was afraid of c3 instead of queen e2, but I don't think it was a problem. Now my knight on c1 has no good squares, and I'm having a hard time connecting my rooks. I'm not liking my position here. It feels very cramped, and I don't see a good way to open the position. Okay. Good notes, and one of the things I really want to stress is I didn't like knight c1 at the beginning. And a very simple way to approach the position is to say, bows, you must fix the knight. It's not even funny anymore, right? And so the easiest way to do it would be to take here and to bring the knight back in. Your move has the virtue that if black takes, then our knight comes back into the game. Now, one of the things where black is getting a little frisky here is dude is refusing to develop, okay? And so black is running their own risk. The only reason they might get away with it is because our own knight is so terrible. c1, right? Okay. b3. Okay, a little weird, but you're trying to get your knight out. Okay. Dude says, no, I don't want to let your knight out. And again, the most simple thing for you to do here, probably the most prudent, is just to take everything off, all the pawns go away, and stick your knight here, right? Fix the dude. Now he's not fixed, and it's unclear how the knight on c1 gets into the game. I don't understand that move. Not sure about this one. I was trying to prepare a4, but maybe this would have been better achieved with queen e1. So what I want you to see is, and by the way, much stronger players than you have this problem, you have to find a way to fix dude. Dude must get fixed. And at this point, you do have like a space disadvantage that is a little bit hard to figure out, right? So when analyzing the game, we want to ask ourselves, well, dude, how could I possibly find some plan where the knight on c1 does something? Are we worse here? Yes, we are. There's no question about it. But black is playing a game that's a little bit hard to do himself, herself, because the black king is open, and it's not clear yet where the black pieces want to go. They just want to constrain you. So I think we need to move the queen here, move the knight here, move this guy back, either here or here, and then aim for f4. You know, is it scary? Yes. Another way to do it would be to play maybe knight d2, followed by queen h5. You could do a similar thing with knight e1. And maybe someday we'll play f4. Maybe, right? Be nice if we got queen h5, and then maybe we could play bishop h3, trading off some pieces. Okay, so rook b1, a5, frisky. Queen e1. Okay, frisky. Okay. So dude plays to win the pawn. I didn't like that move. Queen e2 would have been better, I think. Absolutely. Now, by black being greedy, they do give you some hope, right? So you need to play queen d1. Not queen e2, by the way, because my knight might want an escape, right? And that's a bad pawn to lose. Now we're in trouble. Well, we got that, though. Was that necessary? No, it was not necessary. Dude could have played h5 or something. So, very key hanging mistake from your opponent. Again, at this level, stuff being hung will decide things. So big pawn to win, not only does it give access to the king, but now the bishop gets to talk, maybe. Let's go bishop h3, baby. Nice. Thank you very much. Nice move. Now you're bringing it. About here, I started to get into some time pressure, so the rest of the game is kind of a blur, but I was starting to like my chances. I'm starting to like your chances too, boss. Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. Okay, good. Rook f7, check, please. Oh. Yeah, we need to play the rook here. It's got, but black has lost control. Black has lost control. Bishop g5 was also weird because that bishop was holding on to dear life over here. Check to the miserable queen. That's kind of complicated now. Yeah, dude has made his life complicated. Queen g8. Bam! Oh, Agazabah, buddy. You're hanging all your business. Okay, look at that, dude. Come back. All right. Now, one of the things I like about that game is, I can criticize it or whatever, but that is a game between two dojo peeps, and they're fighting, dude. That's competitive. And a lot of the fight is who's going to hang what, right? But what's also happening is both players are laying the foundations for thinking about their pieces. Tempo in the opening, and then the sensitivity to the bad piece. I've talked a lot about sensitivity to the bad piece. A lot of times we're talking about players in way above 2,000 who need to develop that sensitivity. And it's not hard to see the channel here is going to maybe be a little sensitive to a poor piece again. Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't always look at the chat, but I'm going to promise. I'm going to promise. And Chess for Coffee, who is now helping us out, says these long-form videos should be up on the Chess Dojo Live channel. Yes, correct. All right, good. Let's do the next one. Neku. Neku has graduated before. Let's go over here. Neku's kind of around here somewhere. There's Thomas Bradley. He's a 2 above. Neku's next. Wait, where's Neku, buddy? He's right before that. Oh, Neku is lost. Or I've lost Neku. Maybe Neku was part... Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's go find Neku. I have a theory. So go 7 to 8. And now, help me find Neku. No Neku. Neku, buddy, what happened? Neku's left the building. I don't know. I don't know. Neku was there before. Now I don't find him. One of the things I've asked our amazing programmer with help is it'd be nice if I could search the scoreboard for names. Here, Neku has disappeared. Am I spelling him wrong? I don't think so. There's Neku right there. Let's just see it says 700, 800, but I didn't see him there. See, it says 700, 800. I was just there. We can promise it. Neku's done a lot of graduating. Neku's been doing a lot of graduating. I don't know, Neku, man. You got a lot of graduates there, man. Naku's here. Naku, how come you got all these graduations bows? If you're in the 700, 800, there's some confusion here for me about which one you're in and all these graduations you've done. But let's see, let's focus on what the work you've been doing. So presumably that's what you did to get up to 700, and then at 700 you've done some stuff. But I don't understand, Naku. If you're not in the cohort 800, 900, why would you have been doing the work in that cohort? And then also work in this cohort? It confuses a boomer GM to no end. Not really graduating, just doing stuff from lower cohorts. Just checked out some stuff. Okay. Cool. All right, let's see if Naku's got some games. We got one. Looks like Naku is also the annotator. We'll flip. So, the London. I know Jesse tells us not to worry about the names of all this stuff, but you just can't escape it. I took part in a OTB Rapid, or I guess Blitz 10-0 tournament, and it seemed like every single one of my opponents was in love with the London. Talk about Anglophilia. Yeah. Okay, you're doing fine. As long as you play principled moves, everything will be okay. Queen b6, fine move. Queen b3, mild mistake, Queen b3. The so-called Mexican standoff. I like these obscure chess names. I don't think either person wants to take your... Good move, c4. Nice move, dude. Nice move. So what this actually points to, if we want to get theory about it, is that in this position, white needs to play either knight f3 or knight d2, because precisely when you do this and we reach the Mexican standoff, you get to win a tempo. Thank you very much. And not only that, but it's important to see that your rook on a8 is now developed. Okay? Okay, good. So, funnily enough, even without e6, the bishop really doesn't have many good squares. Okay, so first of all, I want to say this is a great position for black. And it's important to see that your rook is developed. So when you count developing moves, this is the way I would count it. I would say you've got 1, 2, 3, plus it's your move, so that's 4. Dude's got 2. However, you owe him 1 move because you got to make at least 1 pawn move to get the pawn out. Now, the other thing that's a little tricky about this position to understand is that this pawn coming to b5, b4 is a real pain, and you know what? For white. Creates a lot of pressure. It's hard to deal with. So that's a little bit of inside knowledge. And if you just wanted to focus on this bishop, you could play g6 and bishop f5. Also fine, right? Your move, though, not bad. But we do now, after we play e6, we have to be sensitive to the fact that the bishop on c8 is now slightly problematic. Remember, there's no such thing as bad pieces. There's only bad players. Here we go. Bishop b7. b5. Good move. Castles. Here I could have castled instead. I think one of few times that this happened. Here it didn't cause me any grief, really, but later it may. Okay, now, one of the things I stress a lot here is that you want to be really careful about castling when the queens are off, i.e., the king wants to be in the middle of the board when we have this queenless middle game. Often. Sometimes the king will be so harassed, dude wants to get out of there. But here, for sure, the king's nice. Let him be. Let him be. Maybe we'll play king d7 later, for example. Okay, critical moment, exclam. I totally agree with you. Still only thought on this move for a minute and a half. What I do here will decide the nature of the game. This is definitely the response I expected. A wise man once said, attack on the flank should be countered with a strike in the center or something I don't know. The dude was named Nimzovich. All right. So dude says, Naku says, that DE4 is a mistake. Naku is right. Now, one of the interesting things, I haven't read it yet, we'll see, is does Naku give the right reason as to why DE4 is a mistake? Let's see what they say. In this game, I saw this as somehow necessary. That is DE4. Or I guess it's better to say that I thought not taking was bad because I would be left with less space. But I don't actually think that's true. This allows an incredibly annoying pin on my knight on c6, which will end up being a pain in the you-know-what. All right, so let me say why. It's very important. The knight on d2 is poor. When you take the pawn, you liberate the bad knight. Why is the knight poor? It's dominated by your two pawns. They're taking away the squares. No puedo go there. No puedo go there. No puedo go to e4, right? And get rid of, just highlight the squares your pawns are controlling. Also, this is called the duplicating knights. Knight's in the way, right? So this knight is poor, and you fix that knight when you take on e4. So by every measure, the move b4 is the most ambitious move for you to do. And we're not too afraid of ed because that opens our bishop. We're also not afraid of e5. We'll just move our knight, and then if he plays e5, Norman plays e5, he'll be blocking the bishop. Okay. Okay, here we go. Pop. That's probably also a mistake because now, like you said, the bishop is going to start looking at you. So, as an alternative, you could play knight d5 or just develop a piece like bishop d7. Okay. Some allergies. Poor move. Why? Like I said, people moving out of the center. The king, we could say about this move castling that white is undeveloping their king. We see it all the time here on this show. We see it all the time. I think taking here was a mistake as it opened the b file. Yes, not only that, but you are releasing the tension. Especially now in a position where white has a lot of pressure with the bishops and better development. So pop. What would have been better besides castling? King e2. Of course, king e2. Weird. Critical moment. Still only thought for a minute or so. To be completely honest, I thought after this, I had rook b8, which I obviously didn't. And even then, this defense of the pawn is very flimsy. Right. So it's already a difficult moment. And your knight is poor. It's going to be even worse on a5. It's a little bit hard to give advice, but probably a good start would be rook a3. All right, just ask some questions. All right, knight a5, rook fb1. Solid play for my white. Yeah. Rook a6. I don't understand bishop c7. From white's perspective, white needs to find a way to involve the knight, and even king f1 isn't dumb. Developing the king. Okay, I like the intention. Okay, rook a3. I definitely think you should try. You're in a bad situation, but you should try to develop your king here. Now you see what's happening. You just undeveloped the king. And now white needs to think hard. This is white's key position about how they can take advantage of this situation. My opponent showed me this line after the game with bishop b6. That's clever. Now you don't have to play rook e8, or do you? Yeah, that's actually, I want to say that's a very nice line. And, we're talking about players who are under 1,000, dude, finding some very nice lines like that. Welcome to the dojo, dude. Welcome to the dojo. Okay, so yeah, this is a technical endgame. Let's say some obvious stuff. Black has some compensation because the rook on a3 is active. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. And then after d7, we get this move. Yeah, now you're back in the game, Baus. Okay. Now, one of the things very important this is a great example both to analyze and to think about, where in the end game, people will generally not think that long. Now, you've said a little bit about people maybe not thinking so long here, but it would be nice to write in how much time. And a lot of times here, like I'm not sure if this was played on Lichess, but on Lichess, you can automatically bring the times over. It's interesting both for myself, for other people, for you, to see where people were thinking. Because in experience of the dojo, people often rush this phase of the game because they think it's obvious. In fact, well, it's not. And now you have every chance to win this game. Good move, developing the king. Here I just played too fast for some reason. Right? Yeah. Ignore this. Here's the endgame I played against myself from this position pretty quickly. I won as black, but I think if I played better with white, then this would be a draw. I agree. And in fact, one of the sparring positions that we have for endgame sparring, Kostya said it was too boring to even put in, but I knew it was so fundamental that we had to put in, is the 4 versus 3 rook endgame, which is going to happen here because both these pawns are going to disappear. They're going to get traded off. Okay, well, let's look at how this game went down. Okay, here's a good rule of thumb. The rook, there's 3 positions the rook can be in relation to the passed pawn. Behind the pawn, such as black has. So black has got the best position in relationship to the passed pawn. White would like to be on that a1 square. The next position is on the side of the pawn, and then the third position is in front of the pawn. In front of the pawn is the worst, and that's what white chooses with rook a4. So white should play a4. Okay. Why is it so bad in front? Well, we might see it a little bit in this game. We'll see how it goes. But the rook is going to be in the way of this pawn. Kind of a problem, right? And it's the more that pawn advances, the less scope the white rook will even have. Okay, I kind of like f5. Good. Good. Black is creating kinetic energy, that's a fancy thing to say, by advancing these pawns. And now white really blew it because black is going to be the one who's faster. King a3 makes no sense to me. Good move. Now, pop. That makes sense. e5. e5. Let me just say f4 comes to mind for me. Well, let's see what we're thinking. Okay, fine. We can do it this way too. Good? Okay, very good. All right, I got to take a quick break, and I'm going to be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe
He's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Aragaisi. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack? And
Mouse.
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still, his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on it.
That's not it, Baus. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it either, buddy. You've lost your mind. There it is, buddy. Okay. It was a good game, Naku. Yeah, for sure. Let's look at somebody else in your cohort. This is Maid. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. We'll check it out. Right, someone's yelling at me at the Discord. Okay. So, pop. And you need to do another pop over here, buddy. Pop. And let's go. Recent and Maid is at the very end, so it should be easy to find. 700 to 800. Let's click. Probably, yeah, this is somebody who's just joined. So one of the things I just want to say with this show is, you know, there's been a lot of graduates, and some of it, I think it'll calm down. We're gaining a lot of members, but still, I think it should calm down, where we've had like 20 plus every week. This time we had 19, but a lot of it is people like this who are just come and signed up and marking themselves as going up a cohort when in fact I don't think they actually graduated. Maybe a thing in the system too. Okay, let's go Tika Pose. Tika Poj. I think I spelled it wrong, so I apologize for Tika Poj. And let's go back. And Tika Poj is over here somewhere. Pop. Tika Poj. Something's going on here. Oh, okay. Playing classical games and analyzing them. Based on my schedule, I'm restricted to 30-30 Lichess Lone Wolf games and G45 USCG games for classical practice. Tika Poj. So, first of all, let's honor Tika Poj by changing the name here. I got it wrong on my transcription. And we get this a lot of people saying they don't have time. And at the beginning of the dojo, we had a thing where we were shaming people by saying, if you claim you don't have time, then we get to go look into your account to see how many hours of blitz chess you did. Jerks. You know, jerks. So we're not doing that much anymore. But in general, that is the general intuition that what we're finding, what's going on with people. All right, let's take a look at Tika Poj. So, 68 points gained. Okay. Activity. Nice. Okay. And there's Tika Poj. Tika Poj did 24 points of work to get to the next cohort. Mostly endgame. Let's click on that, baby. Algorithm. Okay, good. We've done a great thing with the algorithm. I'm going to do a program update on our Discord soon. Oh, come on. Show it, Kraai. Well, wait a second. Go on Tika Poj's games first, and then we'll go show it. No rows. So Tika Poj is doing great. And look at that. That was looking pretty good. Hopefully we'll get some games soon from Tika Poj. So check this out. Check this out. If we go here, progress, and we go endgame, and we click on algorithm, pop. No longer. So before it was just this position. This is kind of a lame example, but it's a little different actually. It was this first position that we said you have to win it 3 times. Now we're saying, no, boss. You have to win each of these positions in a row. So if you blow it, we're going to change this wording. If you blow it here, then you got to start over on game 1. So it gives a little bit more flavor and also progression to these positions. This one, the skill level doesn't differ too much. But if we go in and look, say, at Queen and King checkmate, one reason I wanted to shift it up some was I wanted, the biggest problem with the Queen and King checkmate is somebody stalemates, right? They put the Queen there on F2, right? Or here, they make a King move, not realizing dude's in stalemate, right? So that's something like, through pain, through pain, I want them to recognize and not do. So this is an improvement. And by the way, so beautiful, right? Such a beautiful layout here. Public shaming is more useful than jail time. Okay. So, who do we got next? We got Banana. Let's go. Banana's been writing up some nice business up here. Where's Banana? Bananas. Somewhere in here. Think lazy. You know, one of the things is this has gotten a little bit... it's gotten moved around a little bit, I think, because some people at this end have just done it. If that makes sense, just done their graduation. Bananas. Been focusing on at least 2 rapid games a day and making sure I take 2-3 takeaways. Good. Going through the recommended tactics material, I think, is slowly but surely helping. Okay, so Bananas, I'm sure, has graduated before. Let's click on Bananas. Right, Bananas has been doing some good graduating, and tactics, and game, and also let's click here with some game analysis. Okay, good. By the way, this blender game is something we added for Dojo 2.0 for the under 1000s, where we really want people to play some quicker games to get their reps in, to focus on just not losing stuff. Okay, pop. No rows. Look at that, all those graduations right there, man. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, Bananas has been doing some good work. If we go back in time too, you can see Bananas has been at it for a while, dude. And when it says Dojo member since 5.1, that just means that was the beginning of Dojo 2.0. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, we got one more, and that is Van here. And it's going to be over here, and click Van. So far, the things I like best are analysis / postmortems, working through historical games, and the Polgar mates. The thing that is most difficult is getting together with people to do the work. It feels like it is hard to get stable arrangements. Good. Or rather, I agree. And I might talk a little bit more about that after we look at Van's business. So, yeah, let's click on Van. And then I'll show you guys something after we're done here with Van. So, a little bit of improvement. We got the activity. And Van is up to 900, 1000. Already done a little bit of work here. And that's what they did to get there. Some nice endgame work. Let's click on that. The algorithm. Okay. And it was cool because you guys got to see what the algorithm would be for Van here. Some opening work, some games and analysis, some middle games and strategy. Okay, I like it a lot. And the opening, it's funny actually. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna be a real jerk about this. So we're gonna tell our fiend programmer, don't let under 1200 mark opening work. Only for non-dojo points, non-dojo activities. And the non-dojo stuff is fine, but just recognize it's not actually part of this. Oh, wait a second. No. My bad. Kraai, you blew it. Because when you click on here, all dude is saying is he's done the video. Great. So my bad. Okay, let's see some games here. Pop. No games. Oh, okay. So one thing I wanted to show is if we go meetings, excuse me, not that one. If we go to calendar, and then let's click off all the cohorts, and we're just gonna look, say, at the cohorts around Van. And it's true. Dude, Van, I'm with you. Like, we go here, we get actually a lot more of the 1100, 1200, but there we don't have nearly as much as we would like, right? In terms of people booking stuff that has to do, say, with sparring, with the book group, with playing some classical games, with analyzing the games, right? So, for example, this is John. This is a slightly a higher cohort than you, right? And this is the cohorts that dude is available to doing this, either playing a game or analyzing a game, right? So, yeah. Now, two things. One, we're hoping that as we grow, we'll get more and more, let's take away the 1100 actually, more and more people doing a group. Here we just have one with, now this is something that dude could do, right? Van could do. So these are all things that Joel here is available to do. Basically everything, right? Has a certain time, ready to do it with more than one person. Anyway, so I want to see more of this. We'll get that with two things, as the dojo grows and as we have more people actually posting onto this calendar. The stuff in green is just stuff that like I'm doing, right, with the graduate show, and stuff that actually Kostya and David are forgetting to post their shows on here. Hey! Okay. So, good. You guys, that's pretty much it. I might stream with David or somebody if they wanted to come on. Maybe I'll take a little break. David, is that you, buddy? ChessDojoLive? I have something. You want to do something, boss? I have something I could show you. Let me show you something, buddy. And you can tell me if you want to stream right now or not. You don't have to. So check this out, boss. Me and David did the 2-night checkmate really hard. David actually crushed it. I failed it. But I kind of made it harder. I made everything a touch harder, hopefully also more interesting. And if we go then to this, oh baby, oh wait. This hasn't been updated here. Time out. So let me show you this, David. You go to the end game, and then you go to this algorithm. Look at what we did, boss. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. If you're feeling strong, we could take a crack at this. So basically, to give everyone a sense of what's going on, before we would have just this one position, and we said, let's do it. You have to do it 3 times in a row. Unfortunately, when you start doing it, you get kind of good at just this one position. But of course, the idea is to master the whole thing. And so we have now 3 positions. And then the goal of the exercise, which is really hard, is you have to get every single one right. And then if you blow it, you got to start over. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Yeah, the booking calendar is amazing, dude. Okay, David's watching Gukesh and Fallujah. I'm going to sign off then. Maybe David will come back. At some point, me and David are going to conquer this two nights business. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back at the same time doing Graduates Part 2. That will be over 1,000. I think we have about 10 people who are on the table for that. Again, if you want to watch any of these old videos, you can find that on our VOD channel here on Twitch, or ChessDojoLive will have all of the old shows as a backup.